People often ask me, when is it a good time to hire a salesperson? Or is this something that I should be thinking about in my service business? So, today I want to offer you three questions you can ask yourself to better determine if hiring someone to have sales conversations with your potential clients is a good idea, something that will advance your business. I'm Celina Guerrero. I am the host of the Thrive Biz Chat. That's where we are today. It's a weekly chat about those things that are critical to running a really successful service-based business. I am a B2B sales coach and I help business to business founders and CEOs, consultants, coaches to generate more sales, more clients in their business through human led sales relationships and sales conversations. Currently, I have a program, a one-to-one program called the LinkedIn Outreach Playbook. It's where I create a five-step playbook for you to use LinkedIn to identify and reach out to and start conversations with your ideal clients. So if you're interested in that, you can go to outreachplaybook.com and you can learn more about that. And if you just generally want to talk about how to find new clients for your business, I hope you'll reach out to me. You can always message me on LinkedIn or find me on my website, which is celinaguerrero.com. I'll put that link in the notes and the comments as well. All right. So I wanted to actually begin this conversation about when it's a good time to hire a salesperson by just framing a little bit about what people are more familiar with. That includes marketing, and that also includes advertising. So just again, I want to give you a quick, like 1 minute backdrop on what, about sales within the context that you're probably already familiar with, organic marketing and advertising. So organic marketing is when we identify our ideal client, our client avatar. We write a thought leadership piece. We write a social media post. We write a blog, and we put it on our channels like social media, LinkedIn, or on our website or a blog, and so on. Our ideal client sees that, and then they opt in to learn more about us. The second thing that you're most familiar with are advertising. And advertising can be, it could be TV, it could be billboard. In many cases, it's social media advertising or YouTube, ads on YouTube, ads on Google, on websites, other people's websites, and also could even be a sponsorship. But this is when, again, you create your ideal client profile avatar, you figure out a message that you want to share with them, and you identify where they are, based on, like, for example, some of the examples I just gave, and you send that message out to them based on very targeted information about where they're spending time, mostly, in this case, online, right? And your ideal client sees that ad and they are intrigued. And so then they opt in to learn more about you. Okay. So this is really like the things that we are most familiar with as service-based businesses. So if you're asking yourself, why would I ever consider hiring a salesperson? What does that really mean? I wanted to share with you these three questions. Okay. But before I do that, I do want to clarify that when I talk about a salesperson, what that really means is that you have someone on your team that is doing one of two things. One is that all of those opportunities that are coming into your business from the marketing or from the ads, those are people that are coming into your business that want to have conversations, and you as a CEO or consultant don't have the time to do that. So that salesperson is going to have those human one-to-one sales conversations with those, what we call inbound opportunities from the marketing and the advertising. The other thing a salesperson would do is actually go out um, into the world. And specifically, if you're a B2B business, LinkedIn is an incredible way of doing that. And thoughtfully identifying based on market research and specific LinkedIn profiles and et cetera, all of there's so much information. Specifically reaching out to this ideal client profile person and starting a conversation. So that salesperson for you is probably replacing the work that you've already been doing, especially on the inbound, right? Meaning the opportunities that are coming to you, the referrals, the marketing leads, whatever that, or the advertising leads, and so on. You've probably, as a CEO consultant, have been dealing with those. And then you might hire a salesperson to take over those for you, in addition to going out onto, in my scenario, in my world, LinkedIn, to identify people and reach out to them and start conversations to say, hey, I think you might have this problem. I would love to talk to you more about that. And then engage in a conversation. Okay. So when I think about what kind of questions can I encourage people to ask themselves to identify if what I just described, that salesperson, is something that maybe you should think about for your business. I'm going to outline those three. Okay, so the first question I would ask myself, or I would suggest you ask yourself, is my offer clear? Is my service clear? Okay. The clearer and more proven your offer is, the easier it will be for someone to bring it to market and invite people to talk about it and hopefully become client. When you're not 100% clear on who your product market fit, so to speak, the longer it's going to take for you to get traction on that. Okay. So some companies would actually hire someone to have these conversations, to vet and to figure out what is the service that best fits for your business. That can be expensive. Most businesses, probably yours, you are the CEO or the consultant, you're going to figure out what that works. And so once your offer is super clear, you can hire someone to bring that offer, that service, to your ideal client for consideration. Number two, the second question is, do my clients expect or need or want a human-led sales conversation? Many online courses have marketing funnels, and people will buy into a sometimes very large program or course without ever speaking with a salesperson. And so you might want to ask yourself, is that something that my clients need? They may not need that for you to sell it. But if you're finding that you are so overloaded with those conversations, right, you can hand those off, or you can also use these human-led conversations as a differentiator, right? As a differentiator in your marketplace, so that you're actually having these someone in your company's having these conversations as a differentiator, rather than having people feel like, oh, they just have to push a button and drop thousands of dollars, right? It's definitely more of a relationship-based way of generating clients. So my third question I would suggest you ask yourself is, do I have enough foundational marketing or thought leadership in place to back up and create credibility for any sales conversations your salesperson might have? So for example, this works for marketing too. If you have all of these, well, let me back it up. If you have all of these leads coming from ads, and then they go to check out your website and learn more about you, and there's really nothing there, or it doesn't match, you're going to have a problem. Same thing. If you have hired a salesperson to go out and identify potential clients and start conversations with them and be essentially your ambassador for your company out in the world. And then they learn more about that prospect learns more about your company and there's not much to back it up. That's a problem. Okay. So that's why that question is your marketing and thought leadership in place? Right? Because you don't want to invest in having a salesperson go out there, or advertising for that matter, if there's nothing to back it up. Okay. So the top line question here was, when is hiring a salesperson a good idea? It's a good idea to hire a salesperson when you have a really clear offer, when you want to use human-led sales conversations as a differentiator in your market, or your client is requiring it in order to invest in your business. And number three is you have enough marketing and thought leadership to back up that outbound outreach, right? So that it's not spent all this time generating opportunities to only fall flat because there's nothing to back it up. There's not the kind of authority and the kind of uh, real credibility and trust that one would need to actually hire you. So now, if you are a solo CEO or a consultant and you're thinking about hiring a salesperson, the first thing you're going to need is a plan for that salesperson. And most of the time, it requires you to have, especially, if you're using LinkedIn, an outbound plan. And so the LinkedIn Outreach Playbook program, that one-to-one work that I do, is really there to create a foundation for having conversations with people in your marketplace that could be great clients for you. And whether you take that on yourself as a CEO, if you want to do that, that's awesome. But if you want to then get it off your plate and have somebody else do it, you're going to want this 5 steps, this infrastructure for how people would go into the marketplace on your behalf to really understand your service and talk about your service and really be a representative for you out in the marketplace. You want to have a process that you give to this new sales hire. So just to say that you might feel ready for a salesperson, but if you don't have a plan in place, you should fill that in first before you make that hire. I'm hoping that you're having a great Friday afternoon and that you have a wonderful weekend. And you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions about the types of things that I speak about. And I will see you next week. Bye.